Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that felt like it was draining the life out of you? Maybe you've been charmed by someone's charisma or captivated by their superior intelligence, only to later question your own worth. Toxic relationships can sneak into our lives when we least expect it. And before we know it, we're trapped in a web of confusion, pain, and self doubt. But I have good news for you. There are clear steps you can take to protect your heart from the emotional chaos and manipulation that toxic people thrive on. Whether it's with a romantic partner, a friend, or even a family member, I'm going to share with you 5 critical things that you need to know to fortify your heart against the destructive impact of toxic relationships. And stick with me to the very end because the 5th one I'm going to share is the most important one of all. So let's get into it. First and foremost, you need to be crystal clear about your values, meaning what truly matters to you in a relationship. Your values define how you want to live your life and how you want to be treated by others. So if you're not clear on your values, it's so easy to get swept off your feet by other qualities that may look important, that make a person very appealing, like charm, charisma, intelligence, a sense of humor, or physical attractiveness. And while those traits can draw you in and create a lot of excitement and maybe even chemistry, they often mask deeper issues and can lead you into relationships that don't honor who you really are. The very appealing traits that I just mentioned could masquerade as foundational traits, but in reality, they don't substitute what would be foundational traits that would form the bedrock of a relationship. So the question is, what should form the bedrock of a relationship? Especially one that would involve a deep and long-term commitment. If you're not clear on what those are, just think about the things you experienced in a past toxic relationship that destroyed your trust in that person. Maybe that person you were in relationship with was dishonest with you, or they were a compulsive liar, or maybe they constantly put you down or made jabs at you or undermined you in public, or maybe when you brought up issues with them, they would deflect and project and minimize what you were feeling or not take it seriously. So if you experience these things in past toxic relationships and you don't want to experience them again in future relationships, then some of the values you might have for relationships going forward are integrity, honesty, respect, ability to manage conflicts well, and there may be more. So it would be good for you to take time to reflect on these values and watch for them when you're considering investing in new relationships. So just remember, while charm, intelligence, humor, charisma, attractiveness might make a person appealing and fun to be around, it's really their character at the end of the day that will or will not make a relationship work over the long haul. So be very clear about your values from the beginning. It's much easier to walk away from a relationship that doesn't align with your values early on than to try to fix it later when your emotions are deeply involved. Remember, whatever you expect from someone else, you should be willing to bring to the table also. If you value honesty, become an honest person yourself. If you value respect, be a respectful person. Show up in the ways that you want others to show up for you, because a relationship is a two-way street. You attract what you are. So make sure you're also putting in the effort to embody the values that you want to see in the relationships you're in. The second critical thing you need to do, pay attention to patterns. Patterns are so key, especially in the small things. Now, I'm not asking you to nitpick or expect someone to be perfect, since no one is perfect. And minor mistakes or quirks are all part of being human. So what I'm referring to here are recurring behaviors or attitudes that could be pointing to deeper issues that you can't see at the moment, like tips of icebergs. How can you tell the difference between nitpicking against someone versus picking up a pattern that could signal danger? You might be nitpicking on someone if you have overly high standards or demands that they and most people in their situation could never live up to. On the other hand, you may be picking up on a pattern that's a red flag if you notice consistent behaviors that cause you discomfort, frustration, or even subtle feelings of unease. For example, if someone is repeatedly breaking their promises or failing to follow through on their commitments, that's not just a one-off mistake, that's a pattern. If they habitually talk over you, dismiss your opinions, or show little interest in your feelings, these aren't isolated events. These are signs of a deeper issue. These small patterns are often the tips of much larger icebergs, and ignoring them can lead to bigger problems down the road. If you notice something that bothers you, don't just sweep it under the rug. I would suggest you address it early on in the relationship. Bring it up calmly and simply observe how the person responds. Do they listen and take your concerns seriously? Or do they get defensive or dismissive or even blame you for bringing it up? Their reaction to this will be very telling for you and will give you valuable intel into how they handle conflict in general and whether these issues are resolvable or signs of a more significant problem. Remember, patterns don't lie. If something feels off, trust your instincts and pay attention to how these behaviors unfold over time. Ask God to guide you. It's not about being paranoid or hypercritical. It's really about being aware and protecting your heart from potential harm. Also, if you're unsure, make a point of praying and asking God to guide you in this relationship and reveal to you anything that may be hidden that you should know. He's so good at answering these prayers and has done it so many times for me and even with the people that I coach. The third critical thing to watch out for: take your time. Don't rush. One of the most important pieces of advice when navigating any relationship, especially one with potential red flags, is to take your time. Don't rush into a deeper commitment or marriage, even if you feel like you don't have a lot of time, because that investment will pay off dividends, I'm telling you. Testing the relationship over time is crucial because it allows you to observe how the person truly behaves in various situations and whether their actions align with their words. In the early stages of a relationship, it's so natural for people to present their very best selves. However, it's important to differentiate between those who are genuinely being themselves and those who might be putting on a facade. Toxic individuals, particularly those with narcissistic tendencies, often create a charming and attentive persona to win you over. But as the relationship progresses and commitment deepens, they might start revealing their true nature. And these are behaviors that could be more controlling, possessive, or self-centered. This gradual shift is not something that happens with everyone, but with toxic individuals, it's a pattern to watch out for. By taking your time and not rushing into a deeper commitment, you give yourself the opportunity to see if these troubling behaviors start to surface. It's really about ensuring that the person you're committing to is truly the person they are showing themselves to be, rather than someone hiding behind a mask. Another critical thing to do is pay close attention to any changes in behavior as your commitment to them deepens. For instance, if the person becomes more controlling, possessive, or moody, these could be signs that they were wearing a mask in the beginning. A controlling partner might start to dictate who you can spend time with, what you can wear, or how you should spend your time. If the other person's moodiness seems to come out of nowhere, or is triggered by minor issues, this could indicate underlying emotional instability or manipulative behavior designed to keep you off balance and dependent on them for approval and affection. So take your time to assess the relationship that you're in. It is worth the investment and the sacrifice. The fourth critical thing you must do: observe how this person interacts with their family and friends. This can be very telling. How do they treat the people closest to them, especially when they think no one is watching? Do they show respect and kindness, or are they dismissive, critical, or even abusive? For example, if they speak poorly of their family members belittle their friends, or seem to have a pattern of falling out with people in their life, this could be a red flag. A person who lacks healthy relationships with others may struggle to maintain a healthy relationship with you. Also, how they treat service workers, strangers, and people they deem as less important can also reveal their true character. Are they courteous and polite? Or do they display entitlement and rudeness? If you feel pressured to move faster than you're comfortable with, it's really important to set boundaries and resist the urge to rush. A healthy relationship will allow you the space and time to grow together at a pace that feels right for both of you. Someone who genuinely cares about you will respect your need for time and won't push you into making decisions before you're ready. The fifth critical thing you must do: invest in your healing. Healing is not just an option. It's a necessity if you want to break free from the cycles of unhealthy relationships. If you've been burned, betrayed, or abused in the past, those experiences leave wounds, and wounds that are left untreated can shape your future relationships in destructive ways. When we carry unhealed wounds, our emotional palate, what feels attractive or appealing to us, can become distorted. This means that you might find yourself drawn to the very traits or behaviors that lead to pain and heartache. And it could be because those traits and behaviors are what are most familiar for you. So because of that, your internal radar for danger is out of alignment. You might mistake intensity for intimacy or control for care, because those familiar feelings, even if they're harmful, feel like home. But here's the truth. Just as sharks are drawn to the scent of blood in the water, toxic people are drawn to emotional wounds. They can sense vulnerability and they exploit it to their advantage. This is why healing those wounds is not just about moving on, it's about safeguarding yourself and your future. The more you heal, the stronger your boundaries become, and the clearer your vision is of what a healthy relationship should look like. Investing in your healing means taking the time to reflect on past relationships, understanding the patterns that led to your pain, and doing the deep work to address those areas. This might involve counseling, coaching, inner healing, or engaging in self-reflective practices like journaling or prayer. It's really about connecting with your true identity, believing what God says about you, allowing Him to heal the deep parts of yourself that you might feel incapable of reaching on your own efforts. And as you heal, you'll notice a shift in the types of people you attract. You'll find yourself drawn to individuals who respect your boundaries, who uplift and support you, and who are capable of giving and receiving love in a healthy way. Also, you'll become more adept at recognizing red flags early on, and you'll have the strength to walk away from situations that don't serve your well-being. And just remember, healing isn't just for you, it's for those who are around you as well. When you do the work to heal, you break the cycle of toxicity, not just for yourself, but for your children, your family members, and future generations. Your healing creates a ripple effect, leading to healthier relationships all around you. In the end, God desires wholeness for you more than you might even desire it for yourself. It's true, and He will even use the pain of past relationships to bring you to a place of greater healing and strength. By investing in your healing, you align yourself with His purpose for your life, a purpose which includes joy and peace and relationships that reflect His love. So, if you're serious about protecting your heart from toxic relationships, start with healing your own heart. It's the best investment you can make, not just for your future, but for the legacy of love and health that you're going to leave behind. God often allows toxic people in our lives not to harm us, but to reveal the deeper wounds that He desires to heal. His desire for our wholeness is greater than we can imagine, and sometimes it takes going through adversity in some of these most challenging relationships to drive us to heal on a deeper level. Healing is hard to do alone. Narcissistic abuse in particular affects the body, soul, and spirit, and healing needs to happen in all three of those areas. If you want to avoid falling into another toxic relationship and truly step into life-giving relationships, and you are tired of the isolation and loneliness and long for a community of people who get it, I invite you to consider joining my 12-week program. This program empowers people to recover their identity from narcissistic relationships. It tackles healing from a biblical, practical, and spiritual perspective. There are still some places left in the program. Registration is on a first come, first serve basis, and there are still some places left. Book a call to chat with me or one of my coaches and see if this program is a fit for you. So what is it? This is a 12-week group coaching program with me in which you will journey with about 12-ish other individuals to find healing, freedom, and confidence, set healthy boundaries while keeping your peace, recover your God-given identity, align with God's vision and purpose for your life, and move forward with confidence, connecting with other people who understand the isolation, pain, confusion, manipulation, and gaslighting, and much, much more. There's a group for women, and there's also a separate group for the men because we recognize that men also go through narcissistic abuse. So if you're interested, click the link below to book a 20-minute call with me or one of my coaches to see if this program is a right fit for you. Enrollment is open at the moment, but slots fill up quickly. And if enrollment is closed, you can still click the link to be added to the wait list and you'll be notified when the next program opens. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you would like to receive more content from me, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.